Some games become legends, some games become memes, and some games disappear into a timeline you never ever lived in. This is WWF RAW, an Xbox exclusive from early 2002, and it was the final months of the F era in the World Wrestling Federation, which became the WWE. A game built to show off the power of Microsoft's very first console, the Xbox, and nobody knew if that console would actually survive. Real footage, a big, bold presentation, and wrestlers looking more realistic than anything we'd ever seen before, and somehow, I missed all of it. I was playing the PS2. My friends were PS2 kids. If I was playing a wrestling game, Raw wasn't even on the menu. So today, we're going to change that. No nostalgia, no bias, just me stepping in to Xbox Forgotten Wrestling Universe for me. Let's see if this game was a hidden gem, or if I was right to stay away from it. Picture it, 2001-2002. The WWF is becoming WWE. The Invasion storyline just ended. The brand split is beginning. We're entering the golden era of SmackDown gameplay dominance. And there I am, locked into the PlayStation. It was just easier. Every friend I had a PS2. Every magazine cover hyped the newest SmackDown game. That was the ecosystem I was involved in. Meanwhile, Xbox was this monster green machine with a giant controller that looked out of this world. It was powerful, but it wasn't really ours. So WWF RAW? It wasn't just skipped. I didn't even know it existed at the time. It wasn't in my world. It was like a missing chapter in wrestling game history, one that I'm finally checking out now. One thing I love about revisiting old wrestling games is seeing how wildly different they all used to be. Each system had its own identity, no shared code, no shared vision, just creative chaos. If you want to understand the full evolution of pro wrestling games, we have to explore the Xbox timeline. WWF RAW is that gateway. It's the what if of wrestling video games for me. And honestly, going in completely blind makes this a perfect episode of I've Never Played. Okay, so the game opens and bam, real WWF footage everywhere. The Rock, Stone Cold, actual TV footage pumping straight into the menu. Not gameplay, not cutscenes, real broadcast video. For 2002, that's insane. Most wrestling games stuck to in-engine intros. Yes, some of them did use real footage, but this game wanted you to feel like you were tuning into WWF RAW. The game just feels like an Xbox game. I don't know how to explain it, but it's got that Mountain Dew and Doritos feel. The UI is drenched in green. Mostly, the WWF Attitude Era is in full effect here. The fonts are sharp and industrial. The RAW setting is set for the menu. Everything is the Xbox is the future attitude. And then, this ridiculous moment. There's a trailer button on the menu, so I pressed it, expecting to get hyped for the game, maybe a trailer for this game. And it's a snowboarding game commercial, just randomly inserted. Advertising in a wrestling game before microtransactions ever existed. This was hysterical. And not to mention, it looks like a fun game. After that, I clicked on the How to Play button, because naturally I've never picked up this controller. I thought it was going to be an interactive tutorial, but it just told me how to play the game, so I had to remember everything from this video to do what I learned. It all seemed very simple, and from what I gathered, there was no strong grapple, so you do grapples, then you do moves out of that, modify them by pressing buttons in any direction. Sounds like a wrestling game. The one thing I did notice here was there is no life bar, but a momentum meter. It goes back and forth at the bottom. Once you fill that up, you can do a finisher. Match time. I picked Stone Cold Steve Austin because I needed somebody that represented that WWF attitude, and he's just the coolest guy of all time. And it's somebody with a very simple moveset, so I figured I could pick up and play. Somebody iconic, somebody who won't fail. Well, at least I thought. Then I scroll to the roster. I was going to do Stone Cold versus The Rock, but I see Just Incredible. And look, when else am I going to book this type of match? It's not often that I see Just Incredible in a WWF video game. The entrances look really solid for 2002, lighting, pyro, camera cuts. The game wants to be what you see on TV. It wants to feel legit. But everybody walks like they're wearing a full body cast. The stiffest strut in video game history. Well, maybe not, but it's like their joints are sponsored by Lego or something. Audio-wise, the music rocks. The crowd is okay, but there is no commentary, so everything feels like a WWE live event without actually getting commentary and you're just hearing music in the background. What does work works beautifully. There is a replay system, and anytime a big finisher is hit, boom, picture-in-picture instant replay. The huge broadcast presentation here, honestly, modern games should steal that because I still think that's a great feature. So I thought the game taught me how to play and use the system. No health bars, there's a stamina bar, just tug-of-war momentum meter that you fill it your way and you can hit your finisher. Sounds simple, right? But what followed was anything but simple. I'm punching, I'm grappling, I'm taunting too early, and the bar just refuses to fill up all the way. Everything I do barely moves the needle. Then Just Incredible hits a move, and suddenly he's got momentum. And then the unthinkable happens. I get pinned by Just Incredible in 2025. I'm not emotionally prepared for that one. So I set up a rematch. Now I'm starting to taunt more. I realize that after you do a move and then you taunt, the momentum bar will move in your favor. The bar starts moving. Progress, we're doing it. But the finisher still won't fire. I'm yelling. Why won't the momentum bar fill to full? I can't hit a finisher unless the momentum bar is full. Then I stop. I have to go full NFL film study here. I go and watch the tutorial footage. I pause it, go back to my footage, and then I see the bar doesn't completely fill up. The meter flashes when the finisher is available. Also, you have to get them groggy and grapple and press A and B. Wow. Finally, I hit a stone cold stunner. And that replay box popped up. Oh, that was sweet. That was the best moment in this game so far. I was able to pin Just Incredible. The balance of power is restored in pro wrestling. After 2 matches, I'm thinking, oh man, I can't wait to dive into a story mode or do some ladder matches or gimmicks like that. And then I open the mode list. And that's it. That's all there is. No story mode, no season mode, no ladder match, no Hell in a Cell, backstage brawls, none of that. This game is a launch title in disguise. Gorgeous intro, half wrestling game inside. You can dive deeper, sure, with multi-man matches and a battle royale and even create your own superstar, but it just feels like they left a lot off the table. And I understand, working on a brand new console, coming up with a whole new engine has got to be tough. Building it from the ground up isn't easy work, but it feels like they had the foundation for what was going to be a great game, but we get that great game at a later date. So does WWF RAW hold up today? Yes and no. It nails the presentation. Real footage in the menus, absolutely ambitious. Wrestlers look good for 2002. The momentum meter actually makes me feel like the match is a big fight and you have to control it, not a countdown to empty bars. And finishers feel earned. But the lack of content is brutal. After the third match, you're basically seeing everything in the game. It's a tech showcase, not a full experience. Even at the most simplistic wrestling games, there's no pay-per-view mode where you can do matches on a calendar. There's no season mode where you can take one wrestler and just fight matches over a year. There's no story mode that can progress a single superstar into the future. So it just kind of feels like we're missing out on modes. You just play matches and then that's it? That kind of stinks. With all that said, I will say this is worth playing for the once-in-a-lifetime experience. Probably not something you'll spend weeks grinding or playing over and over, but it's a fascinating missing link in pro wrestling video game history that I missed out on because I wasn't an Xbox fan. What I do really like is the momentum meter that makes every match feel like a struggle for dominance, not just mashing buttons to make your opponent in the danger zone, and finishers feel like a big payoff moment in this game. But I will say again, the lack of depth really hurts this game. It felt like the developers built a great skeleton and then forgot to add the muscles. It had much more potential that was never used. And the crazy part is, the systems are already in place for the game for something special. The framework was there, it just needed more time, more modes, more match types, more everything. Imagine if this game had a story mode of some sort, backstage brawls, ladder matches, cage matches, anything extreme. A deeper grappling system with more weight and variety, more animations and less action figure stiffness. If it even had half of that, it would be a great WWF game for its era. A title that could put Xbox wrestling games on the map for long term, but WWF RAW wasn't it. Instead, it's something like a sample platter for greatness, a demo of what could have been, but it wasn't, and it stops right before the main course arrives. It's 100% worth experiencing today, at least just once, just to see an alternate universe of wrestling games that never got fully explored by me. It's a fascinating piece of WWF gaming history, but it's not the full package that we deserved, and maybe we get the full package in WWF RAW 2, but I've yet to explore that game. But in the end, that was WWF RAW. The Xbox timeline of pro wrestling video games begins now. And the big question is, will WWF RAW 2 be the game that fixes everything in this series? Or is it going to break things even worse? Anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to leave you today. Let me know what you thought about this video and anything about WWF RAW for the Xbox. Did you play it? Have you not played it? And what game do you want to see me check out next? As always, I'm TonyPizzaGuy. We'll see you in another video.